Welcome to the Legacy Cultivators Podcast, the podcast where visionary changemakers share how they're building well-resourced legacies fueled by purpose, alignment, and communal care. Through these conversations, we explore the sacred dance of regenerative ecosystems, where remembrance, holistic entrepreneurship, creativity, and wealth converge. Because true legacy lives in the path that we walk together, a sacred act of weaving memory, resources, and the wisdoms that bring us home. I'm your host, Love Soleil. Now let's get into it. I am so excited for this episode of the Legacy Cultivators Podcast. Today we have Brianne. Welcome. So glad you're here.
Hi, my love. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. All is well. I am so excited about this conversation that we're going to get into. Brianne does some incredible work, is a powerhouse of an entrepreneur, and we are going to get into all the juiciness of the work that she does. But before we get into that, if you can just let's ground into the space, and if you can just give a word or a phrase that really describes how you're feeling in this moment, in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, we can go from there.
I am feeling very joyful today.
Oh, I received that. I love that. I honestly, if I had to pick my word for the day, it would be activated. So if you could share a little bit with us about yourself, the work that you do, and a little bit of your creative process to start us off.
Yeah, so my name is Brianne Patrice. I am a nonprofit baddie, if you will, and I own a nonprofit called the Black Healing Collective. And we advocate for the needs of Black women and femmes who are single or unsupported moms, sexual assault survivors, and or domestic violence victims. We offer group supports, and then we also are working to pay Black women's rent for 6 months to a year. I consult with other nonprofits and also own a for-profit called 2930. And that is a sanctuary that connects the dots between healing, sensuality, sexuality, healing, and wellness. Pleasure is very important to me, but also making sure Black women are taken care of mentally, physically, emotionally, financially is also important to me. So it's like my own little ecosystem. I want to make sure you're taken care of in terms of like your rent and things. And then like when you have space to breathe, I want you to tap into your erotic power so you can really like awaken and heal and dream and all of the things again.
Oof, I love that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really felt resonant with you is like you have such a holistic approach to the work that you do. And also like that's something that I try to do in my own work too. And I'm just really curious about how your personal life experiences have really brought you into this space of doing this social impact work in a variety of ways through business. Loaded question.
You got time?
You got time.
So it's like twofold. If I go back to like my childhood days, and I live on the East Coast, but I am a Southern girl through and through. I was raised in Dallas, Texas, and I come from a very religious background. My stepfather was a pastor, so I was raised as a preacher's kid. And so on the one end, it's like you grow up in a very traditional household where conversations around your body and pleasure and agency and autonomy and mental health and like all of the things that go into being a human and go into like being a Black woman are not necessarily taught. I grew up with the understanding that, you know, I'm not supposed to have sex outside of marriage, and I'm not supposed to have a baby outside of marriage, and that my purpose in life is to find a husband and have kids and, you know, all of the things. And my mom, who I love very much, that is my girl, she's very much a traditional woman. And so I was telling somebody not so long ago that like I feel like my relationships with men can be a bit conflicted or confusing on my end, because in the same way that my mom raised us to be like not like her and not codependent upon a man and whatever for like the things and making sure that we are independent, she also was like, find a husband. And I'm like, bouncing between the two, and I always knew as a child I wanted to be a entrepreneur. I just did not know what entrepreneurship meant for me. And then life kind of happened, and I did become a mom in my early 20s, unmarried. And she unfortunately fell sick in September of 2013. I had graduated college and I had just started like my first grown up job. And a month after I started that job, in hindsight, I can see where it was a blessing, because I was working for Blue Cross Blue Shield, one of the major insurance companies. And a month after I started working a job, she got sick, and it turned out to be a very serious chronic illness. And then like a month after that, we were in complete renal failure. And so obviously my job is paying for her insurance, and a whole bunch of things happened. In my mom, even before my baby got sick, like she was healthy for like the first 2 years of her life. My mom was, telling me you can't trust her dad's family. And I'm a young 20 something, and I'm just trying to like get everybody to like get along. And I'm still in very much in like my people pleasing ways, where I'm like, I want this person to like me. Never understood why that family or his parents in a way did not like me. I'm just trying to, appease everybody while trying to make the best decisions that I can, as a mom for this child who is now sick. And we're in the hospital from like November 2013 to January 2014. And I will never forget, it's like cemented in my brain. It was MLK weekend, and we're all sitting in the hospital. We're talking to the doctor, and the doctor comes and says that, like, if you don't send her to another care facility, because she was so bad, and she was like one of the worst cases that she had seen, they had seen or experienced anyway. And the treatment that they were giving her, that is usually responsive to her illness, she was not responding like at all. And so they were like, we can send you to a facility that is more well versed in severe cases like her. And so and they said, if you don't do it, she'll die. And I'm not thinking, I'm not going to argue. I'm going to send her where you tell me to send her,
What was best for her? Yeah.
right? So I do that, and her paternal grandparents live near the hospital that she was going to. I could not physically leave because my job, I don't know if people know this, but all of the Blue Crosses, Blue Shields are independently owned. So you cannot transfer from one to the other. You have to quit, apply, and hope you can get on at the next one. And as a mom, if my insurance is paying for her, I can't justify quitting when we have all of these bills stacking up. So me and her dad are like just going back and forth. And she's in the hospital for a couple of more months. They get her stabilized. She gets on the donor list. She needs a kidney transplant. And those donor lists can take forever. And me and her dad are still living in the South. I was living in Alabama, and her dad, I think, might have been in Mississippi. It doesn't matter. He was in the South. And so I like called the hospital, and I'm like, can we work on getting her back here where, her parents are? And if she, needs a transplant or whatever, we can work out when we need to work out, get her to where we need to get her to. It's fine. I just want to know if we can bring her back home. And they were like, it's cool, it's fine, we'll figure it out, whatever. And next thing I know, on a Tuesday, I'm at work, I get a phone call from the Maryland courthouse that says we have an emergency custody hearing. Completely like sideswiped.
Blindsided.
Right? So I like I spring into action and I'm trying to do what I think I can do. I did not even have time to find an attorney. It was like a Tuesday. By that Thursday, we had the hearing over the phone. And this is all happening in Maryland. I am still in Birmingham, Alabama, having a court hearing over the phone. Did not have time to find an attorney or anything. So it's just me. The court's basically like, well, we're going to give them temporary custody and you'll have your day in court. And that was it. And so ever since then, it's been like a battle between my family and their family because my mom is like, I'm not going to paint you out to make her to be like she's this terrible mom and, whatever, when she's not that. And it's just
How old
been,
was she at this point, your daughter?
she's like, was she 3? She might have been like 3 or 4 at the time. It
Wow.
very
Okay.
still very young, not fully aware of everything that is going on. So like after all of that, it was just a constant fight. And it got to the point to where everything that they had started to say about me became true. Like I ended up losing my job, in a couple of years later, I ended up losing my job. I ended up losing my home. I ended up losing my car because I am bankrupting myself trying to fight in court and also bankrupting my family, if you will, trying to fight in court. And it got to a point to where I couldn't even take care of myself anymore. And I was so angry because I could not fathom how someone can just walk into a courtroom and say all of these things and you can have proof that negates everything that is being said about you, and they still be like, well, we don't really see a reason to change anything right now, so we just gonna let it be, and again, you'll have your day in court. And it just kept being that over and over again. It kept being like, her dad, so she needed a kidney. Her dad is a match to her. Her dad failed to give her his kidney. That's a whole other thing. And in 2014, I never forget, my family and I were in court and they were like, the judge says, when she gets his kidney, she can come home. And I was like, that's cool. That's fine. I don't care. I didn't want her to get the kidney, but I also want to have a place in her life. And it was at a point to where I wasn't allowed to talk to her. Even though I had a court order that said I could talk to her, I wasn't allowed to talk to her. They were blocking me and dodging my phone calls. Didn't even let my family talk to her. Like it was a very hard and ugly time. And there for me in being able to talk about it now, one, without being able to cry, but two, without having any shame around it, came from being able to research how often things like this happen.
Mm.
And I, I think a lot of us, when we hear that a woman has lost her child, we immediately have a bias against her and thinking that she has done something wrong. And however, though, when you go and you look at the research, that is not entirely the case, especially when it comes to Black women and just people and women of color. Women of color and families of color, Black women are far more subjected to CPS and the family policing system and all of that, way more than white families are. I think it's like 54%. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it's a huge difference between the white families and the Black families. And more often than not, it's not because these women can't take care of or it's not even, let me correct myself. It's not that these women are neglectful or abusive or harmful. It's purely because they are in need. And this welfare system promises aid and it promises assistance and it promises all of these things, and we want to keep the family together and help you and all of the whatever and the so forth, but then when we ask for the help, you deny it and you have us repeating these harmful cycles, and then you look at us and say, well, you're unfit, so we're going to take your child away, and then you have to fight tooth and nail to get your child back when I shouldn't have had my child removed from me in the first place.
And then it creates stigma.
Yes. And then the children are just entered into the system, and we know that the foster system is just another pipeline to the prison system, and so it's just this constant cycle, and there is no help actually being given to these families. Like I think it's like less than 48 or 49% of these cases end up in reunification.
Wow.
It's a very low number. And if the promise is to reunite these families, why isn't the number higher? And so in going through what I have gone through, first, I really needed to take a step back to put Black womanhood, put Black motherhood, just put my own existence into my own words. That meant me not dating. I stopped dating for, I don't know, like a year or two, so I could like really focus on myself and really take charge of like my mental health. And that started with me understanding my sensual body, my sexual body, and my erotic power. And there's so much a misconception around what sensuality and sexuality and the
Tell
erotic
us.
is.
Get into it. Yeah.
And we are conditioned to think that our sensuality, our sexuality, our bodies, our pleasure is only for the enjoyment of men. That these things only belong to men, that we are only supposed to perform for men, that we are not supposed to get any joy, any excitement, any pleasure, any satisfaction, any of that, that we're not supposed to get anything out of it. Because then if we are prioritizing ourselves, then they label us as selfish. I'll be 37 this year, and I have really, these last 2 years have really made me understand the importance of being selfish, and not in a like, I don't care about other people and like whatever kind of way, a way that makes me just really prioritize myself first, a way that really makes me beholden and responsible to my boundaries, a way that really makes me comfortable with saying, allowing my yeses to be my yes and my no's to be my no's, a way of me knowing what my definition of community is. And like, all of that came from me understanding my sensual, my sexual, and my erotic power. All of that really took me. Shout out to Audre Lorde for her essay "Uses of the Erotic." If y'all have not read it, please go read it. But in that, she basically says that the erotic is just a source of responsibility. It is us. It is putting us back in the driver's seat. It is us taking charge of the experiences that we want to have and aligning ourselves with those experiences. It is us holding ourselves to a standard of excellence, one that is still achievable, one that's still attainable, and having that level of excellence also surround us in our friendships and our relationships, and knowing that the people that we are surrounding ourselves with also matches the way that we want, the values and the morals and the way that we want to live our lives. It is the erotic has really allowed me to be comfortable in even asking like what my worth is in terms of my work, and how much like I might charge for a consulting fee or like whatever, where I used to be very uncomfortable talking about money. And even being in a nonprofit space, and you know, when you are talking about um deals, I used to be very comfortable and would like lowball, but like now I have gotten to a place where it's like, you need to give me 10 racks for that. And if you can't give me, then we gotta go. Or you need to give me 100 bands for that. And if you can't give me that, then like we don't have anything to talk about, because I have work to do and I can't diminish my work because you don't, just because you might not see value in it. That is fine. You don't have to see value in it. It's not for everybody, but I know that there somebody is, and you just might not be that person, and that's totally fine. I'll send you on your way, and I'm gonna go to the next person, and they gonna give me that 100 grand that you said that you could not give me because it was not worth it. And so the erotic is just us really being in charge of ourselves, for ourselves, and knowing that our pleasure, our orgasms, our bodies, our relationships, whatever it is that we want in this life, is to please us first, foremost, and always.
I love that.
In like doing that, I know I had like all, that's where like 29, 30 was birth, but like I always know that I wanted to do something that really kind of mimicked, if you will, my journey, and like putting my life back together. Because all of like the custody battle is like 10 years ago. It's in 2014, it's 2025, and I am still piecing my life back together financially, mentally, like all of the things. It is taking a lot of time. And I'm grateful that I am further along than what I was. And I'm grateful that I have a family who never wants to see me without and will always be there to support me and provide for me when I cannot provide for myself. But there are people who do not have that luxury. So what does it look like? Here comes the Black Healing Collective. What does it look like for Black women to no longer have to choose between their healing and their survival? What does it look like for us to be able to truly rest so that we can prioritize our needs, so that we can even think about our needs? Because when you're in survival mode, you're not thinking about, right. You can't plan. You can't even think about tomorrow. You're just trying to get through the next hour, the next minute, the next day. Like, you're just trying to make it into the end of the day. You can't plan for tomorrow. You can't think about next week. You can't think about next month. You can't think about next year. You for sure can't think about 5 years from now. So if we can, if my nonprofit can pay for your rent and give you some therapy so that you can breathe and you can sleep if you need to for the next month, or, you can do whatever it is that you need to do so that you can regulate your nervous system and think more clearly and put your plan into action, that's what I want to do. Because there's no reason why we cannot have or the same resources that other people are granted. There's no reason why we should not have the same resources that other people are granted, especially considering that this entire world would not exist.
Okay. Come on.
Without Black people. Y'all have gone through this gamut of power, and power that is from oppression and violence is not power. That's not true power. If it is rooted in oppression and violence, it's not power.
Not at all.
So for me, it's like building this ecosystem. If my nonprofit can pay for your rent and we can give you therapy, and we have this, I don't want to call it a system of welfare because I hate that word, an ecosystem of Black well-being. And we are cross collaborating, and we got you. I'm going to pay your rent and I'm going to give you therapy. But then also I have an understanding that these women are coming to me with things that I might not necessarily be able to provide. So that's where the network comes in. That's where the cross collaboration comes in. And love can help you with your business. And maybe, if your child needs some therapy, maybe Black Girl Smile can give you that. And if you need a lawyer or daycare, like whatever, then I can connect you to who I knew to connect you to. And we are just all connected, because there are so many things that we have Black people have created. But when we are in a state of trauma and we are trying to get out of the trauma, when we know what our needs are, but we don't know where to start, we just repeat that cycle of trauma, because it's incredibly overwhelming to know that I need to leave this situation, but I don't know what my choices are. I don't know what's available to me. And most of us feel like nothing is available to us. So we just stay in these toxic cycles. There are choices out here for us. So you come talk to me about your rent. You go talk to Love about your business. You go talk to BGS about your child's therapy. And you go talk to the mental health collaboration, or you can go talk to the Loveland, or you can go talk to Callan Lord for like your health needs. And it's just this beautiful network.
Group economics.
Right.
Yeah. That's what our ancestors were doing. And
Exactly.
we do it too, just in our own, like within our own friendships and communities. But now it's like, let's organize it better. Let's bring it in a way that we can really create more impact and more change. And that's why it's so powerful what we're doing, so.
Correct. And so like that was a very long-winded answer, but like
we needed the root story going. So thank you.
Yeah. Those are my babies. 2030 is like 3 years old, I think now, and the Black Healing Collective will be a year in April. So still very new, still very grassroots, but like
we're making things happen.
Exactly.
I love it. And as you were talking, I was really, really feeling compelled by what you were talking about, the erotic, and about connecting back to that sensual power, and then how that has really empowered you within all aspects of your life, including your business. So I would love to kind of talk about some tips or some gems for women who don't know, have never really thought about their erotic power or connecting, what is a way that we can, what are some ways that we can like start to build that relationship and connect with our erotic power?
Quite literally, everything, like sensuality, the erotic is a thread. There's a thread in everything we do. Everything we do. Our body is always communicating to us. We just never stop to listen. And sensuality, quite literally, is just you spending time, intentional time with your senses, having more, being more aware of what it is that is trying to tell you, what it is your senses are communicating to you. So it could start very little. It could start very small, and just you being more slow in how you get ready in the morning, how you pay attention to when the water hits your face. Is it cold? Is it just right? Is it whatever? Even if you boiling down to like the toothbrush and the toothpaste that you are using, are you like rushing to where you don't even realize that like you are hurting your teeth? Is it trying to tell you? Like all of that goes into our sensuality and our erotic power. Really understanding the messages that our body is communicating to us on an everyday. And then not only listening to the message, but then putting it into action to make the appropriate adjustments that our body is asking us to make. Maybe it's going on for a walk. Maybe it is changing your sheets from cotton to satin because it feels better against your skin. Maybe it is changing the lotion that you're using because it doesn't give you the silky smooth that you are asking for. Or maybe it's adding perfumes or candles or like whatever. It could be cooking dinner. And you can start very small in just those. But also, I'm a girl. When I decide to do something, I go in straight into the deep end. Self pleasure is also very important too. And self pleasure can mean vibrator. It could just mean exploring your erogenous zones and figuring out what your turn ons are. Understanding your erotic is really you again taking time to understand your personhood, your likes, your dislikes, and then being able to communicate that in a very confident, comfortable way. So I always encourage women, you can journal, you can ask yourself, like, what about the past experiences have I not liked? Where have I not been satisfied? When have I allowed myself to be silenced? Where have I allowed myself to not speak up? When have I wished I spoke up so that I could have gotten my needs met? What are my needs? Do you even know what your needs are? Spend time figuring out what your needs are. I'm a girl who also believes in trying everything at least once. Cause like you're not gonna know if you like or dislike something until you try it. So try, anything. And I don't want to make it seem like it's all sexual because it's not. It can be bungee jumping. I'm not gonna bungee jump because I'm afraid of heights. But like it could be bungee jumping, it could be I don't know, skydiving, it could just be going for learning how to swim, taking a pottery class, using your hands more, experimenting with different fabrics and how you dress to present yourself out into the world. What makes you feel sexy? What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel warm and like giggly and bubbly on the inside? What awakens your taste buds? What awakens your ears? What stimulates your mind? Like all of this goes into our sensuality and into embodying our erotic power. And when we get comfortable with fully harnessing that erotic power, like, I'm sorry, an erotic woman, a sensual woman is a spiritual woman, and a spiritual woman cannot be, can I cuss? Cannot be fucked with.
Hey, yes, ma'am. Yes. I really love just like how what you're saying is so accessible to anyone, to every single woman. It's not about, oh, you have to do it this one way. It's about really tuning into your own essence to then figure out what that looks like for you. And I think that's so important because especially with like media, we're so used to seeing, oh, it looks this way to be attractive. And it's like, no, like whatever you're compelled by is what is best for you. And that might look completely different from the sister next to you. And that's the beauty, the unique experience. And it's accessible when take the time to be intentional, to listen and to look for the subtleties. And I like what you said about like, even just like feeling, like, I think sensorial is one of my things that is like really important. Like when I'm in the shower, how the water kind of touches my skin, and just taking a moment to breathe, because especially as melanated women, we're so quick. Like we're saving everybody. We're doing this, we're doing that. We're the wife, we're the mother, we're the business owner, we're everything. And I think there's a beauty in getting to shape shift into whatever roles we decide to play. But there's also the rest aspect that is so needed. And that's really a lot of the work that you're doing. It's like, what who are we when we get to rest? Like, how do we express ourselves when we get to rest, and then come to a place of expression that fits how we want to express? Because a lot of the times we don't get to like sit with what we want, how we will, like, I don't even, sometimes I like, my mom is so busy doing all the incredible things, providing, raising children. It's like, but what does it look like for you to do the things that
You
inspire
want to do.
your life? Yeah.
Yes, one of my girlfriends, her name is Christina. She owns a nonprofit called Off Work. I just quite literally talking to her yesterday, and you just made me think about her because she was talking about her mom. And one of the things Christina is fundraising for is to provide micro grants so that people can have a day off work. And right. And that made me think about that because she literally was talking about yesterday how like she want to be able to like what it'd be like the equivalent where if a man says spend the day with me and he like I pay you for the time you're gonna miss at work, like that kind of thing behind it. And where she's like, if you don't have any more PTO at time at work, like we got you over here at off work, and I'm gonna give you this micro grant, and so you can call off and take your PTO time. And she was thinking about that in terms of her mom and like wanting to give her mom that time because her mom is the same as you're speaking about your mom, that like they also need rest. They do need rest.
Woman needs to sleep too.
Right.
And she needs to lay the cape down, because you don't got to be superwoman all the
You
time.
don't. You don't. Just relax. And I know it's hard for us to relax. Even like even when spirit is like so, it's like, girl, sit down. We still are just like, it's so uncomfortable. And a lot of that comes from society and patriarchy and all of the things telling us that we are not valuable humans when we rest, that we are not valuable people when we are doing nothing. I want to do nothing sometimes. Like I want to relax. I want to sit down. I want to sleep. I don't want to have my brain on all the time. Like I want to sit here and watch mindless TV and not be judged for it.
Yeah, and that's honestly it's so natural, because I mean, if you just look outside and you think about the seasons, the seasonality of just nature.
Mhm.
And it's like in the winter, the
It's
plants
right.
will go bye-bye. See you in the spring. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. So it's the same thing with us. Like literally it, just because we've created unnatural systems, or other people have created unnatural systems, and we're within that capitalist system, so we kind of continue to run in that space in order to quote unquote thrive, doesn't mean that we don't get to create and imagine new regenerative systems that look different. I mean, I live by a quote that is, if you don't see the portal, create the portal. And that's really what got me to start Cultural Preservation Network in the first place. And we get to, it's like, what does it feel like and look like to reimagine what these systems can be for us, by us? So.
Yes, exactly that. I'm gonna take that quote and that's gonna be my quote of the day.
I'm like, listen, I try to tell it to everybody. If you don't see the portal, create the portal. And that's what we're doing. We're creating portals. So I am just so excited about that. And I'm curious, for the woman who is like, or the person in general who is like, okay, I am really, really connected to this important social impact movement that I care about, and I want to create a business around it. I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know where to start. But I know that I'm meant to create this thing. what are some kind of tips or just ideas of what you would share with them to how to start to create that portal?
Ask for help. I want Black women, and I'm speaking to myself also, to ask for help. Last year in 2023 was like the first time where spirit deliberately set me down, and I had to learn how to find rest in through community care and allow my community to take care of me, because I made a career change, and in that career change I had not been able to take care of myself in a way that I was used to. And my community stepped in while I was focusing on building the things that I am building right now. They was like, we got you. And so ask your community. There are people out there in your community, outside of your community, who quite literally want to help you just because they genuinely love you. They believe in you. Ask. Also, we need to get back to bartering. That's the other thing. Bartering is so me and my girlfriend Christina, who I was just talking about, actually me and a lot of my friends who have various skills. Christina has social media skills. I hate social media, but she's helping me with that. I am very much an operations and business development girl. I'm helping her with that. One of my girlfriends is a graphic designer, so she's doing my graphics and rebuilding my website. Like, barter. There are people out there who you can do a skill exchange with. And I myself I love working and helping with Black women. So even if it's just sending me an email or a DM and saying, hey, can you look at this for me? I am more than happy to look at the things. And I love connecting people.
Yes, I have a testimony on that just super quickly, because literally this queen, literally our podcast guest is who you connected me with, Doriana. I'm so
excited. I love Dory. That's my girl. I love her so much.
So she practices what she preaches, just so y'all know.
I love connecting, and I really do. I'm not just one of those, my network and then I'll tell you nothing. I quite literally, if I love you and I decide that you're my people and like we good, I'm gonna connect you, and like my network is your network and whatever. But ask, and that's the biggest thing I can really say, is just to ask, to trust yourself, and to not only ask your outside community, but ask your inner community. And by inner community, I mean your spirit guides and your ancestors. Yes. They're not going to give you the things if you don't ask for the things.
So important. That is so important. I want to talk a little bit about that too, because especially when it comes to building business, I think it's so easy to get like, okay, I have this idea. I need to find a million things. I need to figure it all by myself. And it's like, the first thing that I did, it took me a while to start CPN, but one of the first thing that I did was I literally sat at the figurative altar of my business to understand the soul of my business so that I could create from a place that was full and nourished and deeply connected so that I could serve. And it's like, it wasn't about getting all the answers, but for me, it was about like, okay, my intention here is really to create something of impact that can help people. And however long that takes, that's the journey. But I want to make sure that in every moment, I'm always connected to that essence. And then I have something to return to when I get a little like nervous or tired, because business is work. It's a journey. It ain't always easy. It's up and down. Sometimes you want to quit. But when you're connected to the soul, it always makes you laugh.
I love my work, I do, but every now and then I be like, you sure that's what you want me to do?
Let's get a little spicy out here.
Because a 9 to 5 don't sound all that bad right now. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm like joking, but like also not, because sometimes they do be stressful. But I also know I'm a terrible employee at the same time. So.
You gotta, because for some people, I mean, when I started CPN, I was working a 9 to 5, and I was using that as an investment towards my business, because in the beginning, sometimes you do got to put your own skin in the game
you do
to really make it, But I'm not gonna lie, it was hard because I was like, especially when you're doing something you're so passionate about, it's hard to then pour that into somebody else's vision that you don't care as much about while you're doing yours and you're learning. Like, man, like I really love it here, but we all have our journey, so it's important. There's a spectrum of how we get there. So
Correct. What I want, excuse me, what I want to say, going back to what you were saying, how you took your time with Cultural Preservation Network, is I really want to harp on time, and that when I got the idea for 2930, I quite literally was 29 turning into 30. That was back in like 20, like 18, 19. I didn't know what to do with it. So when it comes to, even when we have an idea for something and you don't know what to do with it, don't immediately rush into it. Take your time trying to figure out what spirit is communicating to you. I sat on that name for, I think, like 4 years before I even registered it as an LLC and figured out what it was Spirit wanted me to do with it. I got the name 2018, 2019, somewhere in there, and I didn't register it until October 2022, and I didn't have our first event until October 2023. Like, there was time in there because I wanted to be very intentional about how I introduced it to the world. I didn't want to just throw stuff out there to see what, stuck. I wanted to be very intentional in what I was creating. Even with Black Healing Collective, I've been very intentional in not just who is on my board and the things that we are creating, but around the messaging and like taking time to make sure that I am okay. Because unfortunately for a lot of us, when we get these ideas, we are also creating from a space of trauma. And that can like be a good thing, because sometimes, not, I don't want to say a good thing, but it can be an impactful thing when, unfortunately, a lot of amazing things that we as creatives have created have come from states of trauma. But it can also be it can also cause setbacks when we are more worried about getting the thing started so that we can make the money, and not actually doing the thing that we need to do so that it has sustainability and longevity. And so take your time.
I think that's so important to harp on because I think there's a glamorization of business, especially in social media, of like, oh yeah, I started my business last year and now I'm making 7 million figures. And it's like, and then when you don't see that result in a year, you're like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. I quit. And it's like, no, like everyone has their journey. Some people can do that, but they also probably have had businesses in the past that failed that we don't know about, or have had support in a different way. So it's really important to really like dial into your own seasons. And even within my business, there's seasons. Like right now, because I'm focusing on starting to build this podcast and doing a residency, but I'm more in the development stages. That means my output right now in terms of the public is not as it's not as much. So from the outside, people might be like, oh, like, where's she at? And it's like, you have to honor that within your business too, because your business and you in co-collaboration will really show you what is next for you. And trying to be on someone else's crazy timeline, or ones that we create in our mind from projecting and seeing what other people are doing, often is just going to keep us, away from our gifts. So I think that's really important. And time is always
Yes.
crucial.
I also want to say that one thing that really shifted me was adopting a why not me mindset. And when I say this, I don't mean like, the jealous, why did this happen to me? I don't mean that. I mean why wouldn't God want to do this for me type mindset? If he did it for so on and so on and so forth, of course he wants to do it for me. He has no choice but to do it for me, because he said in his word that I come that you have life and have it more abundantly. And I am a reflection of him. I am God and God is me, or her. I am a reflection of her. I am God and God is me. And so, of course, because he is a master, she is a master at her things, I am also a master at my things. I just need to start. And a lot of us are afraid to start. And I'm also talking to myself because this is me. A lot of us are afraid to start because we are immediately like 20 some odd steps ahead. Like, if we got this vision and we're like, well, I don't have the money for this, and how, and like this not making sense, and I don't know how I'm gonna get this done, and where the people gonna come from, and like so on and so forth. Your job quite literally is just to start. Yeah. The whole your path is not gonna be revealed to you until you take a step. Oof. And then you take another step and you take another step. And each time you take a step, more and more the path will be illuminated for you. But it like the whole thing is not gonna light up. They're not just gonna give you the vision and then lay the complete path out before you. That's not how it works. You have to start first. You have to say, okay, you gave me this. So maybe the first start is just you mention it to, a mentor or your friend group. Or maybe it's you just signing up for a business Gmail. Or maybe if you do have the money to go and register it through the state, maybe it's that. Even something you can get an EIN for free. So maybe it's even starting getting an EIN or starting an Instagram or TikTok, like whatever it is for you to start the thing, just start. And then it's like breadcrumbing, but a healthy kind of breadcrumb. Then where you like, the more you go, the more steps that you take, the more God is like, all right, I see that she's actually doing it. I see that she's actually listening. So I'm going to continue to give her the things, but you have to start first. Yes. Because why would she not want to do it for you? Yes. Of course she wants to do it for you. She wants you to succeed.
Yes. Yes. That's a bar. Take the action and the momentum will forward. So yeah, thank you for that. And to kind of, as we start to wrap up, I would love to hear a little bit about what legacy means to you. And as you're building, continuing to build, what that legacy will continue to look like or feel like for you.
I imagine a world where Black women can just rest all the time. That's quite literally like everybody is like, I want to get paid to exist. I want you to get paid to exist too. That's what I want. I want to really pass down a lineage that forces the system to take a hard look at itself and readjust the way that it interacts with Black people and Black women and say, actually, you know what? Because we have this data, proven data. You can't deny when the numbers are here. You can't deny the numbers. We have this proven data that this community can do the things when they are given the things. And so we actually need to start giving them the things. I want to really reimagine the way the system interacts with Black women, but not only that, not completely relying on the system. I want to create our own system, free of the government's hands. And it fully lives and rests within the Black community, wherever we are. Here, Africa, Timbuktu, England, like Mars, it doesn't matter. Wherever we are, we know that we have a place to rest, that we know we have a place where our needs are understood, our needs are supported, our needs are met, and we are safe and cared for. That's what I want. I want Black women, Black people, Black bodies to be completely cared for without judgment and shame and desperation and all of that being attached to it. You come and say to me, girl, I need some help. I got you. That's what I want. That's it. That's all I want. It's for us to know that it's for everybody to know that we got you.
I love that. And it's happening. It's happening. It's powerful. So how can people connect with you, support the work that you're doing, and what is next for the immediate future for your beautiful businesses and you?
You can find me. I'm not really deep on the socials, but if you care, I am on Instagram at Brianne Patrice. Again, I got like 6 posts on there. I'm not deep on there, but 2930 is on Instagram, so you can go to 2930, one word spelled out. Black Healing Collective is also on Instagram and TikTok. Black Healing Collective, yes, all spelled out. my website, briannepatrice.com, theblackhealingcollective.org, 2930.org. I'm also writing my first book. So
Oh, nice.
I know.
Yes. What is it about? Quick little fire.
The title is called Holy and Whore, Erotic Embodiments as a Means to Overcome Narcissistic Abuse.
Wow.
And very quick, it is about my childhood and being raised under a narcissist and then dating a narcissist and then dealing with his narcissistic family, and how my erotic power has really allowed me to heal from all of the things, and how I want more Black women to utilize these tools as um, tools excuse me, tools of transformation and healing and self-awareness and all of the things.
Yes. And when is it? Is it like you're in the process of writing? Because I'm okay. Listen, let the people know as soon as it comes out. Because I'm like, I need to read that. So
I am in the process of writing. One of my favorite chapter titles, you heard it here first, is shout out to Alice Walker. It's called Holy is to Whore as Purple is to Lavender. If you're familiar with her
uh,
her analogy there. And because holy is to whore, the two are not separate, even though like people think that it's not. They are. It's not. But that's another conversation for another day.
yes, I'm so excited. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for your time. We'll make sure to share all the links because you just have so many amazing, powerful work that you're doing. So we're gonna let the people know. Again, I appreciate you and thank you so much.
Of course, Boo. Thank you for having me.